You've seen her on Good Morning America, the chief meteorologist for ABC News, and now she's here on What's Working. Ginger Zee!
Hey!
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to do this.
Your brain, your body, your mind, your soul. The What's Working Show with Kelly and Kyle.
Okay, so of course I have to start asking, you are been very open with your depression.
Mm-hmm.
You have been doing so well. You've gotten the treatment. You've gotten the education you need. What has been working for you in your mental wellness?
What works for me is knowing my tools and knowing what to do when I wake up with that feeling, because I never knew what to do with it.
With that feeling of depression.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it really is night and day. It is one day I can feel 100% like myself, or what I think is myself, you know, like that's not always like amazing, but then the next day it truly is waking up with a darkness that I can't describe. Even in a book I tried, and it's like I still can't even describe how dark it is. So I know what to do now. When I wake up with that feeling, I immediately have to tell somebody, because what I used to not do is keep it to myself, because my intent was, I've got to be happy, like just push through it.
What you used to do is keep it to yourself.
Keep it to myself, and then fake it, thinking that was going to do it. That's not. You have to just say it. You have to say, I woke up, everything sucks. I don't want to, I don't want to be in this position anymore. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't, like you say it all. And once I start doing that, it almost always makes it better.
Do you say
even
it out
a little
loud?
bit. Yeah, I say it out loud to myself.
Say it out loud, yeah.
But mostly I write it to my husband if I'm at work or whatever, or because I don't usually wake him up and say today sucks.
Hey, wake up.
Hey,
It sucks today.
I don't want to make it that bad for him. But I'll tell him, I'll usually call my mom, and I say everything that I feel, and I just let it out. And those are two people who I know are extremely safe place. But when I wrote my book, that was the ultimate way of saying it out loud. It was the first time I was saying to people, I'm such a people pleaser. All I want is for you to know how perfect I am and how great I am. And then I was like, with this book, they're definitely going to know I'm not. But I guess I don't care. It was a real sense of self. And that is something that I've learned about, that honesty and transparency with myself first, then with other people. That's my first tool. And then from there, it goes to, okay, well, my mom and my husband aren't responsible for making me better. I am, and my therapist is, someone who's medically trained to do this. So that's usually where I go next, to say, okay, now I need real help. It's like going and calling the doctor. I have a stuffy nose that's been here for however long, or whatever it is, when I feel I gotta go to my therapist if I'm not already going regularly. And then if that's not working, I think my responsibility is to go and get help in the hospital, because I've seen that help me before. And so that would be the next place.
And Ginger, you're obviously the author of Natural Disaster. Yes. My favorite line here, I cover them, I am one.
I am one.
How many people can admit to that? You can order this book using the link below this video. Why did you name it Natural Disaster?
So it was the easiest part of the writing of the book,
Yes.
because that's all I do. Ever since Katrina, including Katrina, I have been in almost every natural disaster that our country has seen. And so in each of those, I found myself finding myself. So after each storm, I had a lot of questions for myself. I learned gratitude within those storms pretty heavy. I was able to come away with them sometimes not understanding why I was still so depressed, even though I didn't lose everything like these people did in this wildfire. Why do I still feel like this? So realizing that your environment isn't determining your mental state. I think that was a really big lesson for me. And then being able to learn about myself through them, I thought, I cover them, I am one. That's the easiest thing to say. It is the most simple description of who I am. And then within those storms, though, the same analogy happens, is that the only difference is you can see them coming. In mental health issues and with depression, I've never been able to forecast my depression. But after that, they all act the same. It hits, it's horrible, it's devastating, but we go through these different levels of grief, as people do, and I've been able to see that. I'm in this strange, raw moment after a storm where people go through everything all at once, and I'm the first person they see. And so being able to, and being such an absorber, I was able to figure out how to build a little bit of a fence even with them, right? And learn how to help them the most that I possibly could without getting too deep. And that's my job as being a journalist, is being able to tell their story without diving so deep that I'm like, I need to be connected to that, which I have tons of pen pals. I'm saying this like I'm not good at, like I do
Right.
this really
Yeah,
well.
like you've mastered it.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
like all of my friends from Hurricane Michael from this last fall. It's like you can't disconnect completely, but that you are be able to experience this strange thing in life that will change their lives forever, but then see the hope and beauty from it. And that's what my disasters have given me. And that's the same thing that happens. It's so cliche. It's like, oh, and then the community came together.
But it's true.
But it's true.
Right.
Then the community came together. My community came together, and I was able to get through my disasters because I have a community, and because so all of it had like you couldn't not write about it once you figured out the analogies are too good.
Too good.
Yeah, sunshine,
I
storms.
love it. On page 53, you write, "Nowadays, I believe that you can be a disaster and still be quite beautiful. You just have to find the core of that storm, whether it's being on television in your flip-flops," that's a story inside the book, "accepting criticism, or rejoicing in the humor of standing at the store with a giant 2-liter douche and find pride in it," also a story from the book. "That's where the happiness lies waiting for you."
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, without context, that douche thing sounds really
There
scary.
was a reason I read it with no context.
Has to do with a dog.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not for me. Yeah. So I think you have to find what within all of those stories and all of your dark times and all of your great times and all of it is that's how the world works. There is never going to be sunshine without storm. There is never going to be, so you can't have sunny skies always. It's funny because that's always what I write in the book, the other book for the kids. And in this one, I've come to always write, the clouds don't last forever, they can't and won't. And I think that's the part that as humans, the glass half full, glass half empty, the glass has to have some level of water. Like it's never gonna be full forever. It can't be, because you're gonna drink it and then you're gonna replenish it. And so it doesn't matter your analogy, but being okay with that. That's where it's at, and that's where you find life. That's where you find the beauty of life, is allowing yourself to have the bad days.
I so get that.
Yeah.
I so get that.
And then just saying, this is okay, this is for now, this is what it is. Allow that to be a part of you.
Yeah. On page 72, you mentioned that covering Hurricane Katrina taught you and helped you develop compassion and empathy. And one of our MedCircle doctors, Dr. Ramani, has this to say about empathy. Let's show you that.
My ex-husband and I, when we were raising our kids, the one thing we 100% agreed upon, he's like, "Ramani, we have a lot of things we have to get right," but we looked at each other and said, the one thing we must make sure we focus on above all else, because we only get one chance to get this right, is empathy. We didn't care how they did in school. We didn't care if they didn't eat their vegetables. We didn't care if they watched television 10 hours a day. We just needed them to be empathic. And there was that fine day when they were about 8 or 9 years old. I'm like, no, we got it.
And the two of you both agreed that empathy was number one.
Empathy is everything.
This
And
is huge for
will-
parents to get.
It's huge, because I'll tell you, it's the core of why kids bully. All the problems we have with kids, it has to be about empathy. Am I telling you my kids have had the most smooth ride? No one's kids are. I mean, and they're horribly mean to me because they're teenagers. But I will say that I can see in their face when they go one line too far as a teenager and they say that one mean thing and they see my face change, immediately. The empathy overtakes them quicker than their words do. Their face changes. I've watched my daughters interact with people, and I'll watch how quickly their face will change when they sense another human being in need. And at those points, I do heave that sigh of relief. Whatever path they take, I do know that they're hyper aware of, not hyper aware like in a neurotic way, but they're very aware of the needs and the feelings of other people, and they will shape their behavior in that way. And that was the only thing that mattered, because I wanted to put two decent, kind human beings into the world.
What roles have empathy and compassion played in your mental wellness?
So empathy can be bad to a point where I was too empathetic and I was too absorbed everybody's energy too much. But having empathy in my job, in those moments of watching people lose everything in their life, that helped me tell a better story, because the best story you can tell is to bring the viewer to the place where you are, not just with big pictures, but with the character, with the person who is surviving that storm, and then to give them that hope at the end, and so, or to say this is what they need. That's my job. That's my job, is to put humanity on something that somebody in New Hampshire is watching the news. They're like, why do I care this morning if someone in Louisville, Kentucky got swept away by a flood? Like, really, why do I care? My job is to make you care and to teach you to never get swept away because this is how this happened. And so that's what I think has become part of my mission, both in life, both in storms still, but also in kind of mental health.
Yeah. For people, the millions of people who suffer from depression, what message would you give to them?
I always say it's the same thing, but that the storms won't last forever. They can't and won't. That's not how our atmosphere works. Like, I get really nerdy with it, but you have to have a lift for a thunderstorm, and then it has to sink somewhere. So within our atmosphere, you're going to have a ridge and you're going to have a trough. And so you cannot have stability always. That's not how our planet works. It's just not how life works. Anything works. So just realizing that ridge is out there, and you can bask in it and you can let it like roll over you while it's there and enjoying it. But I don't know that it's enjoying it, but allowing that trough to kind of be there and realize that it's not going to be forever too when you're in that, on both sides. And that's something I do now. If I have just the best day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got another show and I got this going on, it's like you can be grateful and all of those things. But I think part of the humble and humility and all the things that are great is that you have gratitude for it, but you realize it's not forever.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's the part.
And not like in a negative, like, oh, this is going to get worse. It can only go down from here.
Right.
But then it can only go up from here, too. So I always say that to especially young women. They're like, how did you ever meet your Ben? And I'm like, if you would have told me 6 years ago today that I was going to have a husband and 2 kids, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
It was like
not too long before that, you were dating a gay guy.
Yeah.
Knowingly.
Dating a gay guy.
All in the book.
Then I dated a guy I thought, still didn't know, this is like right before, which is not even in the book, that I couldn't figure out if he was married or like what. Like, I was not in a good place dating-wise.
Right.
But just like you can get that dream job the next day, or you can get hit by a bus the next day, you can meet that person or partner in your life the next day too. Yes, the next day he could leave me tomorrow. And like, I think I'm okay with I have to be okay with it because that's how life works.
That's it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I so get that.
Yeah.
I love that. If you get that, if you really get it, not like you understood it, but if you get it, leave a comment below this video. All right, do you have time for a quick game?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
In your book, Natural Disaster, you talked about how often you flew. I mean, sometimes 8 cities in a 24-hour period.
Yes.
Ridiculous. You've been to more airports than anyone I'm aware of. So this game is, I'm going to read you a city and an airport.
An airport code?
And you have to give me the airport code.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to,
or do you want me to give you the code? I might not be as good at this anymore.
You want me to give you the code and you do the airport?
Yeah, that might be better.
Okay, I'll give you the code, you tell me the airport.
Okay.
And you have 60 seconds, we're going to see how many we can get through.
Okay.
All right, on the clock, here we go. BMH.
BMH, Baltimore?
Birmingham.
Birmingham, oh.
JNU.
You guys picked hard ones. Is that Juno?
we have some funny ones. Juno, that's correct, yeah. PHX.
Phoenix.
Yes. FYV.
Ooh,
It's in
Fort
Arkansas.
Wayne? No. Fort Smith?
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
SFO.
San Francisco.
LAX.
Los Angeles.
COS.
COS?
Uh-huh.
Why am I not thinking of that one? Colorado?
Springs,
yeah.
Very good. DCA.
Oh, it's Reagan. Or Dulles, sorry.
Washington National Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. MCO.
I know, Orlando.
HNL.
HNO. Hanoi? Or we're only U.S.?
Yeah, only U.S.
Oh.
Honolulu.
Yeah. Okay. I obviously don't go to Hawaii often enough.
I almost gave you Linda.
That's not where I get a lot of assignments. Here, look how beautiful it is.
Yeah, right. ORD.
O'Hare.
Yes, SDF.
Oh, San Diego? What is that, SDF?
SDF is Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, no.
MSY.
Oh, I know this.
You do know it.
Why can't I think of it?
Because it was a turning point in your career.
There's a lot of turning points.
Katrina.
Oh, yeah.
New Orleans International Airport.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. How many did she get? Did anyone keep track?
50%.
The majority. Okay.
I know the big ones.
Yes. All right. Ginger, you're just so great.
Thank you.
Everyone was just freaking. You get to talk to Ginger. And you are just so great. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So make sure you get her book, Natural Disaster, using the links below. And I just have to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
We are flying from New York to Los Angeles today. How will the weather be for us?
Yeah, well, LA's fine.
Okay. Yeah, we know that.
Got
right?
that part of the
Yeah.
forecast. Today we do have a couple. Well, what airport? That's actually what matters the most out of here. Is it JFK?
I have no idea. Let's go with JFK.
JFK, you're gonna be fine.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Great. Ginger.
I mean, even with rain and low clouds, they do much better. LaGuardia, I'd say best of luck to you.
Okay, well now I know, JFK for the win. And you can watch more with Ginger Zee on our Med Circle Spotlight series. We talk more about the book, her depression, and what's working for Ginger, so check that out at medcircle.com. I'm Kyle Kittleson, and remember, whatever you're going through, you got this.